Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Cole Hamels played a big part in the Rangers' first half success, earning himself an all-star appearance. His starts allowed the offense to be patient, knowing that Cole will always keep them in the game. Today, both Hamels and the offense need a strong day to grab a victory and get back on the winning track. Your Rangers and the Chicago Cubs finish out their series next on Fox Sports Southwest. Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is presented by high-speed internet from AT&T. Final game in our three-game series from Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Rangers' final game in Chicago during the regular season, and still in search of that elusive first win in the Windy City. Rangers and Cubs today, a couple of veteran pitchers for you. Welcome into the booth, folks. I'm Dave Raymond with Steve Busby. As we get ready to go today, the good news for the Rangers, they turn to their ace, at least their ace this year, Cole Hamels, who has been very good in these spots where they need him to come up big.
You're right, Dave, and they need an ace-like performance from their ace here this afternoon. Cole Hamels trying to break a streak where he has not gone 5 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Good news is, the last time that happened, he came here to Wrigley Field last year and threw a no-hitter. So, you never know. Baseball is funny about things like that. 8 career starts against the Cubs. Cole has mastered them pretty well, 4-1. That ERA right at 2. 5 career starts in this ballpark. Cole Hamels has pitched extremely well. So Rangers looking for a repeat performance from Cole. It doesn't have to be a no-hitter, but a shutout certainly would be nice.
No doubt, and he has pitched as well as anybody in the game in this ballpark over the years. His mound opponent, though, is a 37-year-old right-hander from Abilene, Texas, a guy who has pitched in some big games in the National League and the American League, and the Rangers know plenty about John Lackey.
They do, and, we've kind of wearing out the phrase he's not pitching well. Talking about Cubs starters, none of them have been pitching well until the second half started 2 days ago. And all of a sudden the Rangers are running into a buzzsaw. They know exactly what they're going to get with John Lackey. He's one of 4 active pitchers with 400-plus starts, 2,500-plus innings. One of 7 active pitchers with 2,000 strikeouts or more. And one of 2 active pitchers that has at least 1 win against every team in the major leagues, all 30 of them. So Lackey has been around. He knows how to pitch. He knows how to turn things around. The last month has not been kind to John Lackey, but the Rangers know anytime they face him, they have their hands full because this guy knows how to pitch.
And once again, we're looking at a very good pitching matchup this afternoon from the north side in Chicago. Looking forward to the Rangers and Cubs one last time this summer. Stay with us. Plenty more coming up after the break. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet, get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, a gorgeous Sunday afternoon at Wrigley Field. Getting closer to game time today, and we welcome in the third member of our broadcast crew, John Radigan.
Hey, Dave, thanks very much. After that rain we had this morning, a little steamy down here, but this time of year, it's often steamy on the field. It was probably steamy last July the 25th when Cole Hamels last pitched in this ballpark. I know one thing, Cole Hamels was hot that day. Cole throws a no-hitter the last time he pitched in this ballpark. It was July the 25th of last year. He struck out 13 and had them busting their bats over their knees. He got the consummate great play in center field to get his no-hitter, his first, the first against the Cubs since they were no-hit by Sandy Koufax in '65, and Cole knows it was a confluence of great circumstances.
You know, when you have the defense behind you, I mean, you definitely have to have plays made, you know, and that was something where, you know, I was able to get two phenomenal plays by O'Doul, and, you know, for a guy that has never played the outfield and just started that year, you know, the timing was perfect, and I think that's kind of what happens is, you know, things line up every once in a while, you know, in a season and in your career, and, you know, just happen to do it at that time. So, you know, it's a good spot, and obviously a memory that I think everybody on that field and even in the dugout will remember. And, you know, there were quite a few, you know, Cub fans that were, you know, applauding and, you know, just kind of a fun ordeal, I think, just for the whole 24 hours.
Yeah, and it leads to our Coors Light cold hard fact. Cole's no-hitter last July was the 8th only in Major League history here at this ballpark, and the first one at all since '72. That one was thrown by a Cubs pitcher, Milt Pappas, back in September of 1972. It's time for us to take a break. We head back to the studio when we come back. Aaron Hardigan's actually in there today with Mark McLemore, and they join us next from the Fox Sports Studios. We're getting you ready for baseball. It's the Rangers and the Cubs. Between the Rangers and the Cubs from Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. It is a 78-degree day with a light wind, and the sun is peeking through after a raining morning, so all is well for baseball as we get you ready for one more from Wrigley Field. We don't come here that often. The last time we were here was 2013, so I thought I'd get Hall of Famer Eric Nadell's thoughts on just coming back to Wrigley and how it looks after the changes and modernization.
Well, we don't come here very often, and we haven't played very well since we've been here this trip. It's still fun to come to Wrigley Field, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, especially with the changes. You know, I've been really looking forward to seeing what they did with the video boards and incorporating some of the modern features, and it's fun to look at. I wish they'd figured out a way to actually put the score on the scoreboard. Maybe by the end of the season they'll have that one figured out.
Yeah, other than that, it seems to me, just my first, because I was waiting to see this too, my first thought was, you know, they didn't trick it up too much. It still has, it hasn't lost its charm, I guess, even though they've added some of these modern amenities. Is that how it hit you?
Yeah, I think so. And the fact that it's that classic old-fashioned double deck, and I know you grew up going to games at Tiger Stadium. I grew up going to games at Ebbets Field. It's the classic format of those stadiums from the early 1900s. And nothing can really mess with that. But you see what's been done at Fenway now and what's been done at Wrigley, and clearly they can maintain the character of a ballpark and still make it more modern.
Did you make it down to the home clubhouse?
Made it to the home clubhouse. That's pretty incredible. They were able to find the room to do that in the bowels of this stadium. That shocked me.
Yeah, and the visitors clubhouse is still every bit as bad as it's ever been.
It's a little bit tight,
yeah.
And it's very similar to what's going on in Boston. You know, people are pushing each other around in the visiting clubhouse to try and move to the bathroom or move to the food room, and it's luxurious surroundings for the home club, but that's part of what home field advantage is all about.
First half of the season, you know, we saw almost a tale of two teams, although the second tale wasn't very long, but right there at the end there were some struggles. What did you take from the first half about what this team is and will be?
Well, I think it's a really solid team. I think they completely ran out of gas during that last road trip. I think the rain delay in New York absolutely killed them, and they really never recovered from that. Now coming out of the break, the Rangers are not alone in not providing a lot of offense in the first couple of games after the break. It happens a lot. Hitters have been sitting around for 4 days. The team's going to hit, but I think what's become dramatically clear is the Rangers have to have additions to their pitching staff. You know, they need help in the bullpen, and because of the injuries, they need help in the starting rotation. I'm confident JD and his staff are going to get that done, but the sooner it happens, the sooner Jeff Bannister has a little more material to work with.
Which is a higher priority for you, that starter or some bolstering of the bullpen?
Well, it's a good question. After seeing Darvish yesterday, the starting rotation may not be as high a priority, but I don't know. You can't go out there with 4 guys and then hope maybe Kyle Loesch gives you a decent start, maybe Nick Martinez gives you a decent start. If you're going to be a championship contender, you need a little better guy in the 5th spot too. So I think both of those needs are really pressing.
Yeah, and that's something that John Daniels has told us, that he will be working on. All the Rangers fans here, we're glad to have him at Wrigley Field. We're represented by Plano, Rockwall, Grapevine, Coppell. They're all here, and they all got great seats. I'm proud of the way these Rangers fans were able to get such great seats at this game. Guys, let's get it back up to you.
Yeah, thanks, John. And I'll say this too, Buzz. We've heard him yesterday when Darvish struck out the side in the first inning. We heard a lot of "yoos" from the crowd. I mean, the Rangers fans not only have traveled well, but they've been vocal here at Wrigley.
Well, they're having a great time. Dave, the only thing that's lacking is a little bit of run support for the fans, too. And they would love to have some of that along with the Rangers pitchers.
Hard to believe just 1 run scored in 2 games in this ballpark. You think of this ballpark as a good hitter's ballpark. But also, you go back to the series earlier this year on the south side of Chicago. Rangers swept by the White Sox, shut out in the first game there. It just seems like the Windy City has been the winless city this year for the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers have gone through streaks, especially on the road, where their offense has shut down a bit. And you have to credit the White Sox for their pitching against them. And I think you have to credit the Cubs a bit for coming out of the blocks in this second half with a full head of steam. They haven't exactly scorched the Ranger pitching staff for a lot of runs, but they made them stand up.
To that point, no home runs in this series, which is just remarkable as we get ready to go this afternoon. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. We'll start with the Texas Rangers, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jeff Bannister today going with Rougned Odor in that leadoff spot for the 3rd straight game. Ian Desmond in center field will bat 2nd. Beltre at 3rd, batting 3rd, and Prince Fielder Back in the lineup today, first base batting cleanup. Ryan Rua in left, Nomar Mazara in right, and then Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, batting seventh. And then today's battery, Robinson Chirinos catching, batting eighth, and Cole Hamels, not a bad hitter, will bat ninth.
Now that lineup put together by Jeff Bannister this afternoon, trying to get a little mojo back in the Ranger offense. They'll be facing a very familiar foe, the 37-year-old right-hander John Lackey. Lackey, 4 basic pitches, nothing fancy. A good fastball, a very good breaking ball, either slider or curve, and an outstanding changeup. And the Rangers have seen him over the years. For Lackey, this is his 41st appearance against the Rangers. That is his most against any opponent. Command lately has not been very sharp, and the Rangers will certainly want to test that out here in the early going, see if Lackey has overcome the control problems that he's had for the last 3 or 4 starts. But that seems to be a bug, Dave, that has been caught by the rest of the Cubs pitching staff, and they, for the first 2 games, they seem to have overcome it a bit.
Yeah, no doubt. As we take a look at the defense now behind Lackey today, Matt Caesar starting in left field, Albert Almora in center, Jason Hayward, the right fielder today. On the infield, back to what we saw on the opener on Friday. Bryant and Russell on the left side, Baez and Rizzo on the right side of the infield. Wilson Contreras doing the catching this afternoon for John Lang. Beautiful scene at Wrigley Field as we get started, and there's ball 1 delivered by Lackey. Underway this afternoon, our warmest game time temperature of this series, 79 degrees. Door chases one to even the count at 1-1.
And we'll go to the home run point that you brought up, Dave. No home runs in this series yet. With the wind blowing straight out, I have an idea that might change here this afternoon. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but this is a much more hitter-friendly park when the wind's blowing out.
Yeah, we might see a very, very different game this afternoon than we have seen in the previous 2. Odor in a hole, a ball and 2 strikes. The winds today, not only blowing out, as you pointed out, but almost twice the wind speed that we saw the first 2 days. 18 miles per hour today, blowing out to Lake Michigan. Odor pops this one into left field. Caesar to his left, and that's the first out of the ball game. Well, Caesar starting today's game, he came in as a pinch hitter in each of the first 2 contests, saw 1 pitch in both games, and delivered big RBI hits for Chicago. Well, look at that. Might get some sailboats out on the lake this afternoon. Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond hitting .316 with 15 homers, 55 driven in. And 0 for 7 in this series with a walk, and he's in a hole 0-2.
Well, John Lackey has come out here in the first inning firing, and normally 92, 93 is about all that Lackey tops out at, but we've seen him hit 95 here in the early going.
Well, he doesn't mess around much either. He gets that ball, wants to throw as Desmond climbs in again. There's strike 3. So 2 quick outs for John Lackey.
Well, the first 2 hitters, any indication, Lackey's control problems have been solved. The work he was able to do in the week he had off between starts apparently is paying off. He looks much more in command of himself today.
Well, the veteran right-hander, 37 years old, out of Abilene, Texas, goes after Beltre and pins that one perfectly on the inside corner. Beltre at 278. And bounces one third, bobbled momentarily, but Bryant recovers and throws out his opposite number to complete the 1-2-3 inning for John Lackey. The 9 pitches needed by the veteran. And now Cole Hamels will come out for the Rangers. go to the bottom of the first inning. Let's take a look at the Cubs starting lineup today. Joe Madden, in his second year at the helm, starts it off with Javier Baez at second base. Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo to follow. And then the cleanup man is catcher Wilson Contreras. Addison Russell, Jason Hayward, Matt Caesar in there, and then along with center fielder Almora and the pitcher John Lackey. Hamels getting after it. Goes right after Baez and gets strike one. Cole Hamels, 32 years old. Almost a full year now with the club. He's jumped ahead 0-2.
Yeah, Cole making his 19th start. That ties him with Martin Perez for the high water mark on the Ranger club. 9-2 despite his downturn lately. 3.21 ERA, about 3/4 of a point higher than it was prior to his start 3 times ago. So Cole trying to get things back in order, and this might be the ideal place for him to do that. Last year, that no-hitter that he pitched here, and Dave, we mentioned a couple of times, alluding to that no-hitter, struck out 13 Cubs in that ball game, and that would be the kind of game you could see Cole Hamels put together if his stuff gets back to where it was. This Cubs team still has some guys that are prone to the strikeout. If Cole can make his pitches, he has a chance to do that.
Well, Hamels on Tuesday pitched in the All-Star game,
right.
Recorded 3 outs, and those were 3 Cubs.
Yep.
He struck out in that one, so his 1-2 to Baez, and that one in there, strike 3 called. So there's his first strikeout this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Rangers defense behind today, brought to you by Brake Check. Ryan Rua in left field, Ian Desmond with the start in center, and Omar Mazara out there in right. Pretty conventional infield, Beltre and Andrews on the left side of the infield, Odor along with Prince Fielder on the right side. And Robinson Chirinos will do the catching for Cole Hamels today. So a good start for the left-hander. And now Bryant will take one high.
Yeah, strikeout of Baez. Baez kind of got locked up. Cole dropping that backdoor hook right in through the side of the strike zone.
Bryant rips this one foul for a long strike, and he's the guy who had a couple of well-struck balls last year against Hamels in that no-hitter. In fact, he commented he was the last out, but for a kind of circus catch in center field with the wind maybe blowing it back in just a little bit. He even commented that it was kind of cool to be part of history, which I thought was a very interesting perspective from the young man. Not exactly what you would expect to hear from the guy who made the final out of a no-hitter.
Yeah, we'll see what he feels if he's like that, say 5 years or 6 years into his career. See if he still has the same attitude. I kind of suspect that he won't take as much pleasure with that.
And he swings and misses. Another strikeout for Hamels. Back-to-back Ks to get things started this afternoon.
Well, we saw it with Yu Darvish yesterday, David. You're going to see it with Cole Hamels. If Cole has his good changeup curveball combination, the fastball is plenty. And he gets guys thinking one way or the other because they can't protect against both the fastball and the off-speed pitch. And that's where Cub hitters are going to have a little tough time with him today if Cole's able to command that breaking ball in the strike zone.
Now 2 real good at bats, and now Anthony Rizzo. It's good at bats. Good at bats for Hamels, or from Hamels' perspective. Rizzo with an 11-game hitting streak, and boy, he's a guy who has put together a very solid first, nearly 100 games of this season. Not a huge surprise. He is, in a large way, the heart and soul of this offense, batting third once again this afternoon. Lefty on lefty, and he strikes out on 3 pitches. Cole Hamels strikes out the side in order in his half of the first inning. Scoreless game as we go to inning number 2. Be your next chance to take advantage of $10 Tuesdays. Tickets for the A's-Rangers games, just $10. Out on a $10 meal deal when purchasing online. Plus, all fans on Tuesdays receive $10 parking. TexasRangers.com/specials will get your $10 Tuesday tickets for July 26th. Prince Fielder leading things off with the second inning. John Lackey worked through the Rangers in order in the top of the first. And this one fouled off to make it 1-1 on Fielder. Well, as you might guess, more talk again today about Prince Fielder and his spot in the batting order. The average still woefully low at .214. But has had decent numbers against Lackey. And has always hit well in this ballpark. That primarily dating back to his days with the Brewers. And he hammers this ball down the first baseline and into the right field corner. Fielder with a good start to the second inning.
That's a real good sign for Prince Fielder to be able to turn on that pitch by Lackey. Lackey did not make much of a mistake. I mean, it wasn't right down the middle. He got it in where he wanted it pretty well. But Prince able to turn on it and drive that ball down the right field line. We haven't seen Prince able to do that as consistently as he would have liked in the last few weeks. But starting to turn things around that way is a good sign for him.
Lead man on for the Rangers. And now Ryan Rua. Rua at .268 coming into play today. And yet another start in left field as Shin-Soo Choo continues to nurse a sore back. This ball ripped into left field, base hit for Rua. Back-to-back singles gets us going here in the second inning.
That was a case of Ryan Rua picking on an off-speed pitch that stayed up. And that's a good job by Rua. And think about Lackey. Once he shows you that he has command of the strike zone, then you want to make sure that you get a pitch that's a mistake and not miss it. The worst thing you can do is pop that pitch back foul or not really make solid contact. Ryan Rua didn't miss that one.
Two balls squared up in this second inning.
That thing was screaming, hit me, as soon as it left Lackey's hand.
There's that sinker with good movement to Mazzara. Though it was a little bit low for ball one. Mazzara, .280 batting average, continuing his adjustments as he has struggled just a little bit here in the last month and change. 2-0 the count to him. Contreras get that close enough. Fielder not able to move up.
We talked a little bit about it yesterday, Dave, talking about Contreras playing left field, but the problem he's having behind the plate is the actual act of catching the baseball. He's not really adept at that part of the game yet. They're working with him almost on a daily basis, are the Chicago Cubs, but you'll see him box a few up back there that should be easy to catch.
Showing a good arm.
Showing a very good arm. Great arm.
2-0. And Mazzara chased ball three. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, for Contreras, all the tools are there. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of getting him accustomed to receiving the ball properly, and that's one of the finer points of catching. Joe Madden, is set to work on making Contreras an all-around good catcher.
This one put on the outside corner, and it's 2-2 to Mazzara. So they have a great veteran in David Ross on this team, who's able to pass on some good instruction in the later stages of his career. And they've got Miguel Montero, who's long been a very effective, very good National League catcher. So they've got a little room to kind of slowly move Contreras along. There's Ross. One of the most popular teammates you find around baseball.
That's right.
2-2. Mazzara just does stay alive. A couple of hard hit singles to start the inning for the Rangers. Offense has been very difficult to come by. This is just the second at bat in this series the Rangers have had with a man in scoring position. That's kind of hard to believe. Lackey with that very long set. I'm not sure who called time. That might have been plate umpire Corey Blazer. Just said, "Hey, uncle." There's Blazer. It's 2-2. Oh, another good one right down the middle for a strike. Second strikeout this afternoon for John Lackey. Take a look at our Kubota power stats. Oh boy, look at the Cubs starters in this series. They have been awfully tough. And that is after a really rough patch for the entire rotation heading into the All-Star break. So those 4 days seem to have treated these starters well. As Elvis Andrus steps in and takes ball one. Andrus, one of the best in the American League with runners in scoring position. Good spot for him right here. And he hits this one up the middle, base hit into center field. Fielder around third. He'll be waved. The throw coming back in is way offline. Fielder scores, and the Rangers get on the board first. Elvis Andrus does it again.
Yeah, Elvis with his 10th RBI this month. And, boy, he is on fire. You put runners in scoring position for Elvis right now. It's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Brings him that. It's not a terrible pitch. He was up a little bit, but Elvis taking it right back to the big part of the ballpark. Gets that run home for the Rangers.
Well, nicely done. Yesterday it was Andrus who drove in the Rangers' first run in the second inning. Of course, that would end up being all the Rangers would get. This inning has a slightly different feel to it, however. A couple of men out there, only one out, and Robinson Chirinos puts a charge into this one. Long run out there for Almora, up against the ivy. Makes the catch, but comes down hard. Rua tags, he'll score. Rangers lead 2-0. But boy, did Almora give himself up for that one. Wow.
Very nice defensive play. Also a very big indication of how much the wind is going to affect play here today. That ball, kind of a one-handed swing. It looked like Robinson was out on his front foot a little bit. Still enough power to drive it 385 or 90 feet to almost dead center field. And we were wondering yesterday, I know John Radigan was talking to Ian Desmond about how much padding the ivy actually gave him. Well, there's your answer right there. Desmond doesn't have to go out and run into it. He saw what happened to Almora with that. Not a whole lot of give out there.
Well, that has got to hurt a little bit as Cole Hamels takes ball one.
Yeah, and there is brick behind that, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, a lot of it. This ball hammered down the first baseline foul. Ooh. And Cole, not a bad hitter. Has a home run in his career, 28 RBIs. Many years hitting with the Phillies. A 173 career hitter. Now this year he's only had the 3 at-bats. Those were at St. Louis. And he was 0 in that ball game. This one served out to left field. Gets down, base hit. Andrus with the turn at second. And he'll be in there on the single by Hamels. 4th hit of the inning.
How about that? Martin Perez with his first major league hit here on Friday. And now Cole Hamels, his first hit of the year, going the other way. So much for that DH.
Now, who needs it? Yeah, nicely done. So Cole at first, Andrus at third. And a great spot now for Rougned Odor. The breaking ball from Lackey for strike one. So solid start to this afternoon's game for the Rangers. And Lackey needs a moment.
Yeah, Dave, I think it's important, too, to point out this kind of an inning for the Rangers has been a long time coming. And it's not just one guy doing damage, a walk and a single, a walk and an error and then a big home run or something like that. Rangers have put together 4 hits for 2 runs in this inning. And that's really important because the Rangers did that as well as anybody the first half of the year until this latest little slump. And now it looks like with this inning, they maybe can remind themselves what it feels like.
Well, even one of the outs, the Chirino sac fly, very well hit.
Right.
2-strike pitch. This ball hit high in the air, right field. Going to hang up, though, as Hayward shading toward the line, and the inning is over. But Texas gets a pair on 4 hits, and after 1.5, lead 2-0. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Great start to this one. Rangers lead 2-0. Cole Hamels struck out the side in order in the first inning. Yeah, there's your scoreboard. That's where you get the information in this ballpark. The old manual scoreboard in center field. The bleachers and that scoreboard erected back in 1937. Ballpark didn't actually open with those things. It operated here for about 25 years before they added the manual scoreboard. Wilson Contreras leading off the second inning. And he's in a hole, 0-2. And if you saw the pregame interview today with Eric Nadel, he was talking about, well, why don't they put the score on those big screens out there? They added last year 2 very big video boards. It was controversial. 1-2 to Contreras. Here's Eric working hard. Happier today with the Rangers leading. He knows the score right now.
Always.
But he voiced some frustration. A lot of visiting broadcasters voice some frustration over the fact that the only score in the ballpark is out on that manual scoreboard, and you kind of got to do a little of the arithmetic yourself during the game. And the reason they don't put it on the big video boards is because people reflexively did not want those added. They wanted the old ballpark feel, and so the compromise was fine. We'll keep the center field scoreboard, make it useful and necessary, by keeping the score only there. This one fouled off, and Contreras stays alive.
Now they do put the score on the side ribbons and the facing
Right.
of the second deck.
Right.
Scores are there so the people on either side of the ballpark can look at that.
And they've had those for a long time.
Yeah.
Hamels 1-2. Contreras really making him work here. Ethan, the best statistician in the game, working with us this series and pointing out 1979, the Phillies and the Cubs played that 23-22 game here.
Right.
And the point, a very good one, no one knew what the score was that day.
And that wasn't for the scoreboard fault. That was
Strike 3 called on Contreras, and Hamels has struck out the first 4 Cubs he has seen this afternoon.
Cole working that comeback fastball that time, a two-seam fastball. He started off the plate inside, and Contreras, after covering most of the plate on his previous swings, gave up on that. He came back to catch the inside corner. Well-located fastball from Cole Hamels. So far, so good, huh?
Yeah, looking pretty sharp today as he gets Russell to offer at strike 1. Addison Russell batting 5th this afternoon. Very slick fielding shortstop, and it is 1-1. Well, 4 strikeouts to start this one. Hamels very crisp in the early going, not unlike Yu Darvish yesterday, who struck out 5 in the first 2 frames. Now ahead of Russell, a ball and 2 strikes. Russell had a big game Friday night, drove in a couple, scored a couple, and a 2-for-4 night. And he swings and misses. That is 5 strikeouts to start the game.
All manner of pitches, too, for Cole Hamels. Just the slow curveball. He had Addison Russell way out in front of it. So Hamels has gone with the back foot breaking ball down and into a right-handed hitter to get a strikeout. He's gone with the called third strike on a comeback fastball. Gone with a curveball on the back door. Just whatever Cole wants to do, he's able to do.
Jason Hayward started off with strike 1. Hayward, a .238 hitter. He's 0 for 3 yesterday, though did score a run. Hayward hitless on Friday, but also scored a run. Second time in Hamels' career that he has struck out the first 5 hitters in a game. Now, he has never gone 6 straight to start.
Hang on to that thought.
Yeah.
I think he might be in the process of getting that 6th one here.
Just misses. 1-1. We mentioned earlier how much he loves to pitch in this ballpark, and among active pitchers, he has the lowest ERA in this park, as this one hammered foul for a long strike. So now he's getting creative with the ways he gets strikes. I mean, that's just how good he is. Pretty clever.
Yeah, that's the kind of loud foul that never bothers a pitcher, because it was never fair. And you're right. It just, fine. Go ahead and hit it all as you want to.
2-2. Rangers got a couple of runs in the top of the inning. Hamels had a hit. And the 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. And there's a new franchise, rather personal record for Cole Hamels. 6 strikeouts to start the game. And we go to the 3rd at Wrigley. Capped it on July 26th at Whataburger on East Broad Street in Mansfield. Don't miss his chance to win great prizes and meet Pudge at Whataburgers. The first pitch to Ian Desmond, hit high in the air, shallow left. Caesar is there. 1 out. You can go to TexasRangers.com/appearances to learn more information on how to meet Pudge. And at Whataburger, East Broad Street in Mansfield. So Lackey coming right back out. And getting a quick out in the 3rd inning after he labored a little bit in the 2nd. Breaking ball to Beltre for a strike. Beltre grounded out in the 1st inning. One and one the count. Well, Adrian hitting a walk on Friday. But like many a Ranger yesterday, just a tough day at the plate. Collared in 4 tries. Bounces at 3rd base wide.
Yeah, 8 hits in a couple of games for the Ranger offense. That doesn't leave you with a whole lot of good feelings.
No, not so far.
Matter of fact, it had Ian Desmond going out to the cages after the game last night, or yesterday afternoon, and taking some extra work out there. And I'm sure a lot of guys considered joining him.
Bryant with a chance to make the play, does again. 2 quick out in the 3rd. Well, time to check in with Aaron Hardigan on a Chevy game break. Thanks, Aaron. You're not the only one. Trust me. 1 strike pitch to Fielder. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, I want to pass along a big hello. We got some members of the Texas Rangers Women's Club up here. Faye and Katrina and Susan all wanted to say hello to all their friends and family back in the Metroplex. They are among thousands of Ranger fans in town.
Yeah, not surprising. You would have guessed that this would be a well-attended series. But boy, we've just seen so many Rangers fans all over town. 1-2 now to Fielder. And all over the ballpark. They've no doubt enjoyed the experience. Now they'd like to enjoy a game. It's Fielder. He foul tipped that one. No, he did not. That's strike 3. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for John Lackey. Now we see as Cole Hamels chases a little history in the bottom of the 3rd. The left of the Cubs television broadcast booth. There he is, Jim Deshaies, the old left-hander. And he's the man right now. Hamels chasing. His first pitch to Matt Caesar. This is for ball one. JD's the answer to a number of different trivia questions. One of them is the record holder for most strikeouts to start a game. He did it in 1986 against the Dodgers. Struck out 8 in a row. And then Tommy Lasorda was so upset that in the third inning he pinch hit for his pitcher just to put an end to the streak. And it worked. Two and one to Caesar. Caesar has already seen more pitches in this at bat than he has in his 2 pinch hit appearances in this series. And he hits this one in the air, back of second, and Odor will haul it in. So the 6 consecutive strikeouts, well, that run has ended, but Hamels has retired the first 7 he has faced. And JD will live to tell that story another day.
Perspiration dying down now.
Well, Hamels struck out the side of the first, did the same in the second. Now Caesar with the pop-up. And why not? It would be Caesar, of course. He has been the pain in the neck in this series. Almora pops one foul for a strike. But a very dynamic start to this one for Cole Hamels, who has already made history in this ballpark. His last time here, we have talked about it the last couple of days. A no-hitter with 13 strikeouts. And there's a bouncer at third base. Beltre with a bobble. Regains control, but can't get the out, and Almora on via the error. Second error in this series for Adrian Beltre. You just don't see that.
No, you sure don't. Commented the error he made the other night, an easy ground ball to him, and just popped out of his glove. This one, you saw Adrian. He was as surprised as anybody in the ballpark that ball wasn't in his glove. And then he couldn't find it. Now it's up to Cole, though, to make sure that error doesn't cost the Rangers anything on the scoreboard. That's something the Rangers have not been very good at doing lately.
Well, and the errors have piled up in the last couple of weeks. There's John Lackey. Lackey 4 hits this year. Three sacrifices, and we talked about this a little bit on Friday. Not interested in bunting, at least on that first pitch. Now, he may square here. We saw that on Friday. I think Kyle Hendricks went after the first pitch and then attempted to lay one down on the second pitch.
Well, and Lackey has a little bit of a history. I know it's been 20 years ago, but he was a first baseman when he came out of high school and went to UTA for a year. So he's not unfamiliar with the bat.
In a hole here, 0-2. Very, very good athlete. In fact, as you mentioned, in that first year in college, first baseman, when he was at Abilene growing up, scarcely pitched at all.
Yeah.
And then decided, yeah, maybe I should pitch. 0-2. And Hamels just misses. So he transferred to Grayson Community College over there in Denison, and that's where he became a pitcher. Now 37 years old, a couple of World Series under his belt. 1-2 pitch. This one popped first base side. Tough play. Odor is out there, and he's got it. So 2 out.
That's really a nice play by Rougned Odor. He was shaded up the middle just a little bit. He had a long way to go, and that ball not that high in the air. Odor able to battle the elements. You see how far he had to go. That's a good 40 yards. Nice running basket catch.
No, never routine, and in this ballpark where the wind can shift in the middle of a pop-up, you gotta be on your toes.
Well, in this ballpark, like Fenway, a double deck, but it's not all that tall compared to other ballparks, the newer parks. So the wind has a much more drastic effect on pop-ups and fly balls here.
First pitch to Baez, and that one is crushed into the left field corner. Almora got a good start. They're waving him to the plate. Cubs are on the board. It's a 2-1 game. Baez with the RBI double. And they break through against Cole Hamels.
Gall not able to completely work around that error. He did get Lackey, the pitcher, for the second out. Then he hung one. And Baez went up and got it. Ball staying right in the middle of the plate. Baez able to drive it into the corner for the run-scoring double, his 32nd RBI of the year.
Well, inning not over. Baez out there in scoring position for Bryant. Wow. Strike one. Look out. Ball was on the move. Leads the National League with 25 home runs. Third with those 65 RBIs. A very dangerous right-handed hitter. Hamels gets him to chase the count 0-2. Baez was running. And he has his 7th stolen base of the year. Well, there was a day, Buzz, where he just wouldn't do that. Not with 2 out.
Well, that wasn't a straight steal. That was a delayed steal. He took a secondary lead, kind of hopping off a couple of bounces off the bag, and then went. And as soon as he saw that ball getting a little bit low in the strike zone, but that wasn't a true straight steal.
So he's now just 90 feet away. The 0-2 pitch. Got the outside corner. 7th strikeout this afternoon for Hamels, and he strands a Cub at third. We'll go to the 4th inning. Rangers leading it 2-1. Texas Chili Company Dollar Hot Dog Night. It's going to be Wednesday, July 27th. The Oakland A's and your Texas Rangers head out to the ballpark early. Enjoy all the hot dogs you can eat for just $1 each. Get your tickets today, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS. Ryan Rua Leading things off in the 4th inning, then Nomar Mazara, Elvis Andrus. 2-1. Rangers lead this afternoon. And Lackey right after him jumps ahead 0-2.
Be a good time for the Rangers to add on to. That's something they haven't been able to do as often, Dave, as they had been earlier in the year. They scored a few times early, but then had the offense shut down. This is the time to go back at and get on Lackey right now in the 4th inning.
Well, Rua had one of the big hits in that 2nd inning. Inning in which the Rangers scored their 2 runs on 4 hits. That one off the plate, it's 2-2. Lackey just that momentary hiccup really in the 2nd. He was very quick in the 1st inning, then again in the 3rd. And they'll appeal on the check swing. Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, says no, he did not go. So it's a full count on Rua. And you see Mazara waiting in that on-deck circle. And ball 4, so a leadoff walk. Great way to start the 4th inning. Rua yesterday impressed us by scoring the Rangers' only run. He scored from 2nd base on an infield hit. He's very good base running instincts and great aggression. Not the fastest on the team, but he is a very effective base runner. Zara down looking in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. That one misses just a little bit. Lackey in walking Rua, that was the first hitter today to whom he had gone 3 balls. Lost it there for a 2nd, and now behind Mazara. So far, great day to be a Rangers fan. Trying to salvage a win in this series. Some of the misses haven't been that close either this inning.
No, he's jerked a couple across the plate. And again, we'll go back to what we said about John Lackey. He's been struggling mechanically with himself for a better part of a month now, and it just hasn't fallen into place for him. And every time you get a chance when you're facing a guy like that, you want to do something to remind him that he's struggling. Be patient when he shows the slightest bit of inconsistency, and that's what Mazara is doing in this at bat. He's making him throw and making him work hard.
Well, walk to Rua. Now a 3-0 count to Mazara, and not even close. So back-to-back walks to begin the 4th inning. Now that's a crude observation on my part here, Buzz, but to the untrained eye, the misses are such, like you said, he kind of yanks them.
Yeah.
Going back to something you said, looks like a mechanical thing to me.
Typically, that is a mechanical problem when you're missing by that much, and you say, well, it came out of nowhere. Yeah, it comes out of nowhere, that much of a miss, but there's a little build-up to it where you mechanically get out of whack little by little by little. It's an incremental problem that builds up over, say, 8 or 10 pitches. And if you don't catch it in the early going, if you feel something that mechanically isn't sound and address it early, then you don't have problems like that. But as soon as you ignore it or say, well, it'll get better, and you start all of a sudden missing by 3 feet, and that's when the mechanics get really out of whack. That's when you get a visit from the pitching coach who says, hey, come on, you're not throwing the ball like yourself.
So a couple of men out there. Take a look at our AT&T high-speed replay. Yeah, it was Elvis Andrus in the 2nd inning. A couple of men on, and he got fielder home. Andrus, 3rd in the American League with runners in scoring position, and falls behind with that bunt attempt. Count 0-2.
Pretty good idea right there from Elvis trying to bunt. It wasn't a sacrifice attempt. He had Bryant, the third baseman, playing back behind the bag, and Lackey notoriously has trouble fielding bunts. Not a bad idea to try to drop one down. Unfortunately, he didn't get it in play.
Now the 0-2. And Elvis, even down in the count, I'm sure here, at least in his mind somewhere, is what has been going on in the previous two at-bats, which is Lackey has not been very close to the zone on a lot of his pitches.
You're going to try not to help him out too much. He's gone a lot to breaking balls.
Check of the runners. He missed his spot, but Andrews swings through it, and that's the first out of the inning.
Where Lackey trying to go down and away, at least according to where Contreras set that target. And Lackey effectively wild that time inside. But he got Elvis to a point where, Elvis had seen so many breaking balls, and then you throw the fastball, and even though you miss by a lot, Elvis is tied up by it.
Now with 2 strikes, you got to be a little more aggressive. So now Robinson Chirinos, and he hammers one down the left field line. That one could be trouble. Drops in, base hit. Here comes Rua. He'll score. Mazzara stopped at third, and Chirinos into second base. Rangers lead it 3-1.
Yeah, good job by Robinson Chirinos. Not just driving in the run, that's his second RBI of the day, but taking the extra base. He had a good look at seeing where Caesar was going to throw the ball, and Caesar tried to throw the ball into third base instead of throwing it back to second to keep men at first and second. And with that, Robinson Chirinos just kept right on motoring into second base.
So a run in, but a chance now for a potentially big inning. Cole Hamels fouls off a strike. Hamels delivered a base hit in the second inning. And he'll bunt this one toward third. Bryant will take care of it. And Hamels retired. Unable to get anybody home with that one. And now 2 gone. We go back to the top of the order for Odor.
Now that was a safety squeeze that if you're down at third base, you see that if you're Nomar Mazara down there, it didn't look like Nomar knew that play was on, that Cole might do that. So he came down. Normally what you would do is as soon as you see that ball down, you're coming down the line. Now Bryant was playing up a little bit, so it would have made it tough, but if you read it well enough, you could still beat the throw, and didn't quite get it done.
So Odor now takes ball 1. That one just missed. 2-0 the count. Yeah, so on that play, Bryant screws it up a little bit by being in.
Right. And charging the ball pretty effectively.
Was the bunt where you want it?
No, I think in that situation with runners at second and third, you try to bunt it to the first baseman because he's probably going to be playing back further than the third baseman is. You'd have to take a look at it look at the defensive setup before you got into the box and decide which one you wanted to go.
Now the 2-1 pitch. All square, 2-2 to Odor, who is flied out twice to left field.
Yeah, you got Rizzo playing even with the bag. So they're both playing even with the bagger just up in front. So 6-1, half and does the other. Although the way we saw Rizzo get rid of the ball yesterday, he almost launched one out of the ballpark. You might want to try him again.
Time called by Blazer. Right as Lackey was about to pitch that time. Mazzara at third, Chirinos at second, a run across in this 4th inning. Contreras and Lackey want to make sure they're on the same page. Well, that man has done his job on the mound so far. Very good 3 innings for Cole Hamels. Boy, he and Lackey right now and Contreras really scuffling. Contreras continuing to ask Lackey just to throw it anyway.
Yeah, it's Odor stepping in. He's not, Rugdad doesn't think he's getting enough time to get ready before Lackey comes set.
Now, a long pause, and Odor will say, all right, well, that too. Now, Lackey, by the way, this is going to get a little contentious here at some point, but Lackey, he's among the league leaders in hit batters.
Yep.
So he'll come inside. Not that time, though. Gets Odor, and the strikeout ends the Rangers' threat in the fourth. They add another run, though, and after 3.5, Rangers lead the Cubs by 2. Show will be Friday, July 29th, sponsored by Sherwin-Williams. It's the Royals and Rangers, 7:05 game at Globe Life Park. Get your tickets today, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS. Bottom of the fourth inning, Rangers with the 2-run advantage, and Cole Hamels will work with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in this fourth inning. Rizzo bounces it down to Fielder. And 1 away. Anytime you get rid of him that quickly, you're in pretty good shape. Rizzo retired, and now Wilson Contreras, who was in the middle of that exchange at the end of the top of the fourth inning. He wanted Lackey to throw that pitch. Thought that Odor was taking some liberties stepping in and out of the batter's box. And he didn't seem too pleased with it. Hamels struck him out looking in the second inning. Misses with ball 1. Contreras had a little confrontation recently with Jeff Francoeur from behind the plate. He may be a rookie, but he's got the attitude of a guy who feels like, hey, gummit, it's my territory, and you need to play the way I want you to play too. Strike taken, the count 2-1. I think we all know Odor not the type to back down too quickly either.
No, he's made that very plain.
This one a little tight, 3-1 to Contreras. And John Lackey, I mean, he's got the reputation too. I mean, he's a bulldog of a guy out on the mound. So
I can remember when he first pitched of a ball game, he drilled Elvis and got thrown out of the game. Never made a second pitch.
Hamels 3-1. And Contreras pops it up. Playable near third. And Beltre puts a squeeze on it. 2 away. Well, Hamels 7 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. He punched out the first 6 Cubs he saw today, including this guy, Addison Russell.
I'm reminded it was Ian Kinsler. It wasn't Elvis. It was the leadoff man for the Rangers at that point. Yeah, that was Elvis. That's right. I mean, Ian. That's right. Thanks to Kurt Dykert, our great producer. He's always up on that stuff.
Memory, mine like a steel trap.
It is a steel trap. I'm not sure it's a memory of a steel trap.
Yeah.
It's a steel trap.
Occasionally rusted shut. I understand it. 0-2.
Nothing
to
escapes
Russell.
there.
Well, Cubs have just the 1 hit, but they've managed a run out of it. Thanks in part to another Rangers error. Russell, that one up in the zone, put some pretty good wood on it, but not going to carry far enough. Desmond is there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels. 4 complete this afternoon. Rangers 3, Cubs 1. Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9, meticulously crafted for driving because driving matters. 2, 3, and 4 doing this 5th inning for the Rangers. Lead by a couple, and John Lackey misses to Ian Desmond. I take that back. We'd already gotten ahead with strike 1, so it's 1-1. Desmond hitless in 2 tries so far today, and he takes strike 2.
Yeah, 0 for 10, and this is one of the streaks that kind of scratch your head at the way that Ian's been swinging the bat since late April. So where did this come from? Don't know.
I haven't seen that in a long time. 1-2 pitch, and this one shot sharply down to first. Rizzo is there. And that is out number 1. All right, greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. How about the walk-offs last night? 3 of them, and they were in extra innings, all of them. The D-backs, the Twins, the Padres. Padres maybe the strangest on that balk in the 10th inning. And then, of course, Joe DiMaggio's the hitting streak came to an end 75 years ago today. Sharply hit line drive foul by Beltre. Unfazed down there in the Cubs bullpen.
And Adrian's backswing got Contreras right upside the head too. Almost knocked him out of the crouch.
This time fouls one back to the count 0-2 on Beltre. Adrian has hit it down to Chris Bryant both times he's been in today. And Bryant has handled him routinely both times. Lackey's pitch way off the plate and appeal down to first, and Nelson says that Beltre didn't go.
Everybody asking for an opinion.
All of them wanting a different one. Oh. Appeal that too.
Yeah.
He's been a great attorney. 2-2 the count. I'm not sure I've ever seen any other hitter ask for the appeal.
Yeah.
This one flared out towards center, but well positioned. Baez tracks it down. It's soft liner. And there are 2 gone for Prince Fielder.
Lackey, for the most part, staying away, but Adrian got that in on the fist and couldn't make the adjustment quickly enough.
Fielder with a hit in 2 tries. And now he's going to get into the game of asking for time. Lackey has done a good job of alternating his cadence today to the Rangers hitters. And at times he has really held it for quite a long time out there. So Fielder, Odor, and several others, they've said, well, the heck with it. 1 strike pitch. Well, Lackey has 5 strikeouts so far this afternoon. He's scattered them throughout these first 4 2/3 innings. He's had at least 1 in every inning so far. And the right-hander's 0-2. Fielder's not taking that bait. And great numbers at Wrigley Field. Some of that might have been some of the competition he faced during that time as well. He did rope a ball back of the 2nd inning and scored the Rangers' first run. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging, and Lackey has a strikeout in every inning so far today. 6 for him this afternoon. Halfway to the house, Rangers leading the Cubs 3-1. Out to the ballpark Saturday, July 30th, Rangers and Royals, and you can pick up this special collectible. First 15,000 fans 14 or older receive a franchise 4 quad bobblehead, courtesy of Medical Center Arlington. Beltre, Pudge, Nolan, Michael Young, the Texas Rangers franchise 4. Get your tickets Saturday, July 30th by logging on to texasrangers.com. Bottom of the fifth, Hayward takes one a little tight. Hayward, Matt Caesar, Albert Almora, 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Cubs. We'll make it 1-1 on Hayward, who struck out in the second inning. So Hamels been pretty sharp today. After Yu Darvish yesterday went 4 1/3 innings. This one hit well center field, but Desmond underneath it, one away. Let's check in with Aaron Hardigan back at the studios with a Chevy game break. Wonderful, yeah, that's a good one. More walk-offs after 3 last night in extra innings around Major League Baseball. There's a swing, and this one hit out toward right field. Easy play for Mazzara, and 2 down. Oh, a lot of fly ball outs, pop-ups, strikeouts. There have been no assists yet.
Yeah, a lot of balls in the air. It's, one thing we talked about Matt Caesar, too, who just made that last out. He doesn't waste any time no matter what role he's in, whether it's a starter or a pinch hitter. He's up there hacking at the first thing he sees.
Yeah, we've seen 4 at-bats in this series, 3 of which he has swung at the very first pitch. It's kind of remarkable. Albert Almora reached on the error in the 3rd inning and scored the only Cubs run. Hamels in a very good rhythm today. Makes it 2-0 on the 8th place hitter. Of course, you don't have to be too aggressive with Almora, not with Lackey waiting on deck. Come over the plate and a bouncer, third base. Beltre takes care of him, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels. We go to the 6th, just 7 pitches needed for the left-hander in the 5th. It's a 2-run lead for the Rangers. Time for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Today's jackpot, $700 and dinner for two at a Sonic drive-in. The Ranger hits a home run this inning. Christy Gann of Mount Pleasant will receive $700. Now, if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Christy will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Ryan Rua, last one to the hole. It's short. Nice play out there by Russell. And they get Rua by a step. Boy, Addison Russell is 22 years old, and that is why he is one of the more highly regarded shortstops, certainly in the National League.
Yeah, if you think that it was a travesty to have the entire starting infield as the all-star representative from Chicago, think again, because this infield can play. And Russell's showing you the kind of shortstop that he is now, and he gives you all kinds of what-ifs in the future. You know, what can he become? How good can he be? I'm not sure there's any limit.
Omar Mazzara walked in the fourth inning, 0 for 1. Yeah, they've got some pretty enticing young players and young talent on this Cubs team. And that's why, well, preseason there was a great deal of excitement about this club. And once they got off to that 25-6 start, even more excitement. A good breaking ball to Mazzara. The count 1-2. You know, you figure that the last World Series victory on the north side of Chicago, 1908. Now that predated Babe Ruth's debut in baseball by like 6 years. And Mazzara down swinging. And there are 2 away. It's pre-World War I. I mean, it's
back there's a ways.
In fact, it's before this ballpark.
Right.
And I mean, it's been a long, long time. So when people get excited about the Cubs, it's not uncommon. There's always a lot of hope here that turns to a lot of despair typically.
Well, you got to remember, though, 1945, they went to the World Series. So that was pretty recent compared to when the last time was they won it.
So now you're just being mean. Now you're just being mean to those poor Cubs.
You got to look at the bright side of things.
Ball 1 to Elvis Andrus. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
1-1 as Lackey dumps in a strike. Lackey with 7 strikeouts so far this afternoon. And that has been a big part of his game this year. His strikeout numbers are up in a rather dramatic way. I think there's only one pitcher in baseball who has increased his strikeout numbers by a greater percentage than Lackey has this year. This ball fought off by Andrews to keep the count 1-2. I mean, Lackey, a career year in strikeouts that way. 9.3 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. He's 5th in the National League with 120 coming in. At 37 years old, 1-2 pitch. Too far in, 2-2. I'll say he's reinvented himself, but he has certainly been able to get more swings and misses this year than ever before. Also a career best in hits allowed per 9 inning this year. It's 2-2, and Andrews will see another one. The Texas boy from Abilene. What a career. Came up his rookie year, started Game 7 of the World Series and won it. There's a swing and a well-hit ball center field. But Almora with plenty of room, and it completes another 1-2-3 inning for Lackey. To the last of the 6th we go, with the Rangers leading by 2. Monday, August 14th, will be treated to an Adrian Beltre removable helmet bobblehead, courtesy of Nitto Tire. You're one of the first 15,000 fans to the Tigers-Rangers game and collect this one-of-a-kind bobblehead. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. And remember, remove Beltre's helmet at your own risk. And that is very true. I don't even think that bobblehead likes it. All right, bottom of the 6th inning. Rangers up by 2, and Cole Hamels has been dealing today. Starts the inning with the opposing pitcher, John Lackey. Coming right after him, Lackey hits this one out to left, though. And Rua right there for it, 1 away. Hey, let's check in again with Aaron Hardigan back at the studios with a Chevy game break. All right, thanks, Aaron. Here, a 3-1 game. Bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order, though, coming up. Javier Baez, 1 for 2 this afternoon. He has the only Cubs hit. Baez in the leadoff spot today. Yesterday, it was Tommy La Stella leading off for the Cubs. And on Friday, Ben Zobrist, who's not in the lineup at all today. This one lifted high in the air center field. Desmond waiting on it, and there are 2 gone.
Tell by the reaction of the fans that when the ball goes in the air to center field, there are a lot of oohs and ahs. I don't care if it's a pop-up to center. It gets up in that jet stream, and they're anticipating the ball landing out beyond the wall.
Oh, look at that win.
Oh, yeah.
We thought early on maybe it really would be a factor today, but
not yet.
Not yet, exactly. There's still plenty of baseball to be played. Very dangerous hitter right here, Chris Bryant. Nice to see him at the plate, however, with nobody on base. The league's best power hitter with 25 home runs. Last year's Rookie of the Year. Little controversy with him last year about when the Cubs would call him up. And it didn't take long, but Bryant, once he did make the big club, made a lot of noise. I think he understood. His agent wanted to make maybe a little more of it than needed to be made, but I think you understand all sides on that one. The 1-1. Backdoor breaking ball for a strike. Ahead of Bryant here, a ball and 2 strikes. Bryant, in fact, was the last strikeout victim for Hamels. That was in the 3rd. Hamels gets him to loop this one out to center, and it drops in. And Cubs' 3rd baseman is on with a 2-out single. Just the 2nd hit this afternoon against Hamels.
Well, Bryant off balance a little bit, this an off-speed pitch, and able to go out, and he actually went out and jammed himself on it. Reaching so far out there that the ball got up toward the trademark, but that benefited Chris Bryant because it was hit softly enough then to fall in front of Ian Desmond.
The Cubs have a big base runner out there now with another power threat, Anthony Rizzo. Stepping in, Rizzo 0 for 2 today. Lefty on lefty here. Hamels struck him out in the 1st, got him to ground out in the 4th.
And Cole, like everybody else in the Rangers staff, has stayed inside on Rizzo, and with good effect so far. This is not where you want to go away from it unless you make a quality pitch down and away.
That one a little low, 2-0. Taking a look at the Ford leaderboard this afternoon. Yeah, walks by the Cubs, and they have been awfully good at getting those free base runners so far. None today. A strike pinned on the corner. 2-1. The walks issued by the Rangers pitching seems like really have been the undoing in the last couple of weeks as they've endured this struggle.
Yeah, every time the Rangers in the last couple of weeks have given the opposition any kind of break, they have had to come back and bite them, whether it be an error, a play that wasn't made that they normally would make, or a walk, any of those things. And Jeff Banish's club just has not been able to make up for it. Well, maybe that's turning around today.
Today, working with a 2-run lead. Hamels has been very sharp. A no-hitter last time he pitched here. 2 hits today. This one hit down to first. Fielder will give it to Hamels on his way to the bag, and that ends the inning. Cubs strand another runner. We go to the 7th this afternoon on the north side. Rangers leading Chicago 3-1. Time for the Ford game summary. Elvis Andrus started the scoring of the second inning. That single to center field scored Prince Fielder. Later in the inning, another run would come in. But then Javier Baez got the Cubs in the game. With this double in the third inning, it was the first hit of 2 today by Chicago. Robinson Chirinos' fourth inning double. That plated Ryan Rua and gets us to the 3-1 score as we start things in the 7th inning. Chirinos quickly in a hole, 0-2 here to John Lackey. And Lackey has been pretty good, with the exception maybe the second inning. A little hiccup in the 4th. The TXU Energy Power player to watch today. Robinson Chirinos. He has been a road warrior. Yeah, his home runs coming away from Globe Life Park. He's hit the ball well twice today. Stays alive, 0-2.
He's had some good swings against Lackey. Lackey keeps messing around up, especially in the middle of that plate. Chirinos going to get him again.
Deep sacrifice fly to center in the second inning. The double, which you just saw a moment ago. This one hits a shallow center, however. And Almora hauls it in. That's 1 away. And 9 straight retired by Lackey. Now Hamels will hit for himself here. Had the single to left field in the second inning. Mentioned earlier, Cole can handle the bat a little bit. Career average right near 175. Bad for a pitcher. 2-0 the count. That line right there, not bad for a pitcher. sits directly next to a decent runner for a catcher.
Yeah.
Right, decent speed for a catcher.
That's right.
The old backhanded compliment. Lackey's 2-0. Right in there.
Take him any way you can get him.
That's right. Forehand, backhand, I don't care. Well, nobody worried about his hitting today. His pitching has been very good. After a pretty exciting start yesterday by Yu Darvish. Now, Darvish not able to go deep yesterday. Piled up the strikeouts. Had a couple of pitches he would take back, and the walk that he allowed to the 8th place hitter. And it really keyed the 2-run inning yesterday. Hamels beat Bouncer to first base. Rizzo will team up with Lackey, and there are 2 gone. But overall, Darvish looked pretty good yesterday, and maybe more importantly, felt good today.
Well, that's the important thing coming out of that. You know, you'd like to get further than 4 1/3 with 90 pitches. And that's what it boils down to. And your job as a starting pitcher, and Yu Darvish would be the first to say this, is get deep in the ballgame. And having 90 pitches to work with and only lasting 4 1/3, I think that would chafe him a little bit. But the big thing is he feels good. He came out of it healthy. He has something to build on for the next start.
The slider was really good. You pointed out several times. I mean, it was working real well for him.
Yep.
The fastball command was what eluded him a couple of times when he would give up those 4 walks. 1-1 on Odor.
Well, I think Yu, and something that Yu has always battled throughout his career in the United States, has been the desire for strikeouts rather than outs. You know, he goes for strikeouts a little too frequently, and by that I mean he uses too many pitches to get an out that's available to him in much fewer pitches. He'll go 3 and 2 a lot, so he can throw a breaking ball to a guy. But that's Yu Darvish. He values that strikeout.
Well, he did get his fair share yesterday, which certainly caused that problem. As a bouncer up the middle, fielded by Baez. Nice play by the second baseman to complete another 1-2-3 inning for John Lackey. Well, they'll stand and stretch today at Wrigley Field, where the Rangers lead the Cubs 3-1. upcoming schedule for the Rangers. Off to Anaheim tonight after the ball game. 3 games against the Angels. Off day that will be spent in Kansas City. And the weekend series against the Royals. And then at long last, back home at Globe Life Park for the A's and the Royals. 7th inning here. First pitch to Contreras. He's smacked into left field. A leadoff single for the Cubs catcher. So final game of this series. Rangers looking for a win.
Not a bad pitch by Cole Hamels on that first pitch. Got the fastball inside, but Contreras, very aggressive hitter. He was up there hacking at it. Got enough wood on it to get it into left field for the leadoff single.
He's aboard for Addison Russell. Russell 0 for 2 today. Hamels gets him to go after strike 1. Now, Hamels' pitch count still in the low 70s as he works in the 7th inning. There is activity. Keone Kela is warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, 54 strikes and 19 balls for Cole Hamels. That's pretty good command of the strike zone, I would say.
Russell hits this one well out to left center. Desmond coming on, goes into a slide and can't hold it. So Russell is on. Contreras out there at second base. Now goes as a base hit.
Thought that ball might have died just at the last minute. I think it kind of fooled Ian. Thought he had a bead drawn on it, and the ball didn't carry quite as far as he thought. Had to go into that last minute slide. Just had it sneak out of his glove.
So a couple of base runners now in the 7th inning. Rangers got a couple of runs in the 2nd, another in the 4th for their 3 runs so far this afternoon on 5 hits. Cubs got their 1 run, an unearned run in the 3rd inning. And now they have a total of 4 hits in the game. But threatening here. Jason Hayward struck out of the 2nd, flied out on the 5th. Hamels could really use a double play in this spot. There's a smash to first. Fielder has it, goes to the bag, and there is the double play. An unconventional one, but what a nice lift for Cole Hamels.
Yeah, not your routine double play, but that's okay. Kind of like a backhanded compliment. You take it any way you can get it.
That's right. That's right. The best part about that double play is that Contreras doesn't advance either. He stays out there at second. Good quick reactions by fielder. Russell. Yep, he thought that one was through.
Not much you can do when you're the runner and that ball is smoked down the line. Your natural reaction is to take that extra step towards second. And by the time you say, oops, it's too late. Or whatever you say to yourself.
Yeah. So, here's Matt Caesar. And what do you know? He's swinging at the first pitch he sees. Strike 1. Not so sure if you didn't throw it to the backstop, he might not swing at it.
If you watch him closely in the on-deck circle, he might be swinging at pitches over there, too.
He has been aggressive. Today, 0 for 2. Look out, 1-1 on Caesar.
Tough to have a hack at that one.
You know, hurt yourself swinging at that pitch. So a couple of hits to start the inning, but Hamels gets a big double play. And now can get out of the frame, no harm done. A little bit in, 2-1.
Where Caesar has hurt the Rangers, aside from the first pitch, he's hurt them with pitches out over the plate. One was a breaking ball, one was a fastball. So Cole obviously trying to work that pitch into him a bit. They may go with a changeup away. Fastball away. Executed well.
Now 2-2. I mentioned earlier, we were talking about strikeouts yesterday with Darvish and how he has such a hunger for them. Hamels, though, he was striking out everybody here early on. And he's been very content to get the ground ball and pop-up outs. Has not had a strikeout since the third inning. It's 2-2. Caesar bounces it right back to Hamels. Little underhand toss, and it ends the inning. Back-to-back singles to start it, but Cubs get nothing out of it. We go to the 8th inning. Rangers by 2. Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live video highlights, StatCast, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Strike one to Ian Desmond, who leads off the 8th inning. Desmond, Beltre, and fielder Dew against Cubs starter John Lackey pitching into the 8th inning. Now over 100 pitches for the day. They have had some activity in their bullpen for a while now. The problem is the pitch count may be climbing a little bit for him, but he's retired the last 11 batters he's faced. Certainly has not shown any signs of weakness. Desmond hits this one a mile high down the left field line, heading toward the corner and gone. A towering home run inside the foul pole, and Desmond goes yard for the 16th time this year. Rangers lead 4-1.
Yeah, very needed run for the Rangers. And Desmond, I know it's a load off his back. For his last 11 times to the plate prior to that. Lackey had messed around upstairs with him, and he got one up there a little too much out over the plate, and Ian Desmond left the ball yard with it.
So you can hit it out of this ballpark.
You can, yeah.
After all. And Beltre trying to do the same thing. That's strike one.
A little hanger up there that stayed on the inside part of the plate. Ian Desmond said thank you very much.
He got it up there.
And the wind helped keep it fair. Wind blowing out from behind home plate.
Beltre chases strike three. Gets away for a moment from Contreras, but that strikeout is the first out in the 8th inning. Hey, let's check in again with Aaron Hardigan, another Chevy game break. Thanks, Aaron. 2 away as Fielder rolls out to the right side. And now here's Ryan Rua. So the solo home run by Ian Desmond. A tack-on run for the Rangers in this 8th inning. Rua's had a great day at the plate, been very busy. Base hit, the walk. He has scored half of the Rangers' runs. And there you go. Double barrel action out there, both ready to go. The Cubs have an arsenal prepared to come in should Lackey bump up against that wall, and he's got to be pretty close.
Yeah, and the pitcher spot due up second in the Cubs half of the inning. American League, you don't have to worry about that.
No.
National League, that plays into it.
Some of our few interleague games on the road, and it has been a storyline at times in this series. 3-1 the count to Rua. For obvious reasons, Joe Madden would love to get Lackey through this inning. So then he can bring in a reliever clean into the 9th inning. Not burn anybody before having to use a pinch hitter. The 3-1. Full count now on Rua. The Rangers will hit the road after this one, off to Anaheim. It's a 3-city road trip to start the 2nd half. Rua gets this one high in the air center field. Almora picking it up and working his way back to make the play. But Rangers get a lift in the 8th. Ian Desmond. It's a towering home run out to the left field corner. And it's a 4-1 Rangers lead.
Lead at 4-1, and we welcome you back to Wrigley Field. Rangers trying to win the finale here, and then they're off to Anaheim, as we have been talking about the game against the Angels tomorrow. And you take a look at the matchup, and it includes, of course, Ranger killer Mike Trout against Nomar Mazara, who in his rookie season has done awfully well against these Angels. Rangers have a winning record against the Angels so far this year. AT&T high-speed internet reminds you the game's tomorrow night on the West Coast, guys.
Yeah, thanks, John. A little travel tonight, and then some West Coast baseball. The early part of the week, Almora lines out to shortstop. Mitch Moreland taking over at first base for these last 2 innings, so Rangers trying to strengthen things a little bit defensively. And now yesterday's leadoff man, Tommy La Stella, will pinch hit for Lackey. La Stella's numbers really not too bad, all things considered. He's a little more of a glove man than he is a real threat as a hitter, but he has put together some decent numbers this season, particularly with regard to his on-base percentage. He does a good job of working a competitive at bat. 1-1 from Hamels, whose pitch count continues to be very well in check. His longest outing this year is 8 innings. And just by the numbers, it would appear that he'd have plenty in the tank to go further than that this afternoon, if Jeff Bannister would so desire.
Pretty consistent, isn't it?
When your toughest inning is 16 pitches.
Yeah.
It's a good day. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to La Stella. Jeff Bannister's had a lot of tough pitching decisions to make in the last several weeks. It's been a long time since he's been able to sit back and enjoy a real good performance like this.
Now Cole was able to go out today and establish the strike zone early in the ballgame for himself, for the Cubs, put them in swing mode, and that certainly has been something that he's been able to utilize to his advantage.
Well, Moreland gets an opportunity. He and Hamels team up, and there are 2 quick outs here in the 8th. We'll bring up Javier Baez. Well, Matt Bush getting loose out there. The one thing today before the ball game, Jeff Bannister said, I really would kind of like to get Sam Dyson in the game. It's been a long time since he's thrown. And that's sort of just the vagaries of the baseball season. You have a stretch where you feel like, gosh, if I could just work around my closer today, that would sure be nice. And now we're in a spot where Banny's looking for a way to get him in.
And score stays the way it is, he'll have that perfect setup to get him in there. 3-run ball game. You tell Sam's all flustered down there. He's pretty upset about things. Very nervous guy.
The moment's really getting to him. 1-1 to Baez.
You need to check and make sure he's got a pulse.
He's a funny cat. He makes he's got you guessing at all times.
Yep.
Well, base is empty with 2 outs, and Baez, it's a good swing on this one, but stays in the yard. Urua is there, and it's a 1-2-3 for Cole Hamels. Hey, well, he still may come out for the ninth. We'll find out. Top of the ninth we go. Rangers lead by 3. All right, thanks, Eric. Ninth inning underway, and Omar Mazara leading it off. Clayton Richard, who's fresh off the disabled list, in the game for the Cubs. And it is 1-1 on Mazara. You see Cole Hamels. Yeah, a lot of smiles, a lot of handshakes. Great afternoon for him. And Mazara in a hole 1-2.
That would probably indicate that we're going to see Sam Dyson to start the ninth inning, which would make perfect sense. Give Sam a little margin for error.
A little comebacker. Richard will underhand it to first. And there he is. I mean, immediately as that eighth inning ended, he got up, started doing those exercises with the rubber bands out there, and took off his hoodie. He'll be ready to go, and he'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the bottom of the ninth. Andrews takes strike one from the left-hander Richard.
Clayton Richards, a 32-year-old southpaw, a former Michigan Wolverine. Richards originally came up on the south side of Chicago with the White Sox. Been with the Pirates and now with the Cubs. Very much a late inning type specialist, left on left. Give an inning, maybe a little bit more if Joe Madden uses him that way. Came off the disabled list at the start of this series.
Elvis, who is 1 for 3, takes strike two. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride for Richard this year. Anytime you see that ERA over 7, one has a little concern. But Cubs hope he's healthy. That one a little bit in on the check swing. He did not go. Jeff Nelson on the appeal. Nope, 2-2. Well, they want it in and low on Elvis. Instead, they go away, and Andrews strikes out swinging. 2 gone.
Rich has kind of got that slinging motion. It's got to be tough to pick up, I would think, for either a right-hander or a left-hander. That ball probably looks like it comes out of his hip somewhere.
Got a little hitch, too. It seems like when he takes the ball out of the glove, there's a little, almost like a pump fake or something. I would find quite distracting. Strike one to Robinson Chirinos. Got a very nice game today. And he's had some real good swings, though those were against John Lackey, who went 8 innings. And both starters went 8. 1-1 the count now. Boy, it just seems like a long time, Buzz, since we've seen that kind of starting pitching.
Yeah, it has been. It's been the better part of 3.5 weeks.
2-1 the count.
Yeah, you know, you can tell yourself if you're a Ranger or any other major league player going through something like this, well, everybody goes through it. You know, we'll get out of it. It's okay. Until you finally do, that's in the back of your mind and sneaks up to the front of your mind every so often.
We tight now. 3 balls and a strike on Chirinos.
You know, the one quality though that makes that stay in that in those doldrums shorter is the desire to work and the chemistry that a team like the Rangers has developed. That's what carries you through tough times. Supporting each other, and everybody knows that they have to work hard if they want to get back to where they were.
Chirinos couldn't hold up. Full count. Yeah, everybody's had to pick everybody up this year, whether it's the offense, the defense, whatever the case. There have been occasions where one portion of the game has faltered a little bit. Boy, that man really picked this team up today.
Rangers got exactly what they needed from Cole Hamels today. We talked about it at the start of the show. They needed an ace-like performance, and they got it. The only run he gave up was an unearned run.
Payoff to Chirinos. Backhand play for Chris Bryant. Long throw is good. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Clayton Richards. 8 strong from Cole Hamels. Now the last of the 9th inning. Rangers closer Sam Dyson coming on. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today during the Ford Freedom Sales event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, the Rangers trying to be the best in Chicago today. This guy wants a happy birthday. We're 3 outs away from giving him one. Rangers leading 4-1. It's a large part to Cole Hamels. 8 strong innings. But now it's up to Sam Dyson to finish it off.
Yeah, we haven't seen Sam Dyson on the hill since the 8th of July. He came into that Friday night game against the Twins. Picked up his 18th save in 20 opportunities. Sam, league average against him at just .233, and he's asked to get the final 3 outs here today.
First pitch swinging. Bryant lifts it foul out of play for strike 1.
Now Cole Hamels today, Dave, a walkless outing, his longest walkless outing of the year. He had a 5 2/3 walkless outing against the White Sox back in May, but today 8 solid innings, no walks, and only 4 base hits.
Swinging strike to count 0-2. Huh? Yeah. And the 1 run was unearned. Struck out 7. Fielded his position well. Had a base hit for crying out loud. I'll double check, see if he's in the cockpit on the flight to Anaheim as Bryant takes it off the plate for ball 1. Dyson well rested. We'll see how sharp. Sometimes you got to knock off a little rust. Right-handed Chris Bryant waits, and that one a little bit in. Bryant had a single his last time up. Does strike out with some frequency. 2-2. And he'll chase strike 3. And that is the first out of the 9th inning.
Now Sam Dyson with that 95 down and away, a great sink to it. Chris Bryant trying to protect the best he could. He had no chance on that pitch down there.
Great work by Dyson. Now we'll have to contend with Anthony Rizzo, who is hitless today. Strong left-handed hitter. And Dyson gets that first pitch in there for a strike. I don't think Rizzo loved it, but it was borderline.
Tough kind of hitter for Sam Dyson to face. A good low ball hitter. Likes to pitch out away from him. Being a left-handed hitter, Sam Dyson's sinker moves away and right into the hitting zone if he starts it inside.
A good breaking ball for a strike. 0-2 the count.
So the answer to that is come in with a slider if you need to.
Now that looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Rizzo has that 11-game hitting streak, but it's in jeopardy. And in fact, it's in big-time trouble now. A strikeout, and there are 2 gone.
And you come in with a changeup, get him off stride that way. A good sequence of pitches from Dyson. Showed him that good hard sinker at 96 or so in the first pitch. Then the slider, and then got something a little extra for you. Changeup that dove out of the strike zone.
So we had Rizzo guessing. Now with 2 gone, here's Wilson Contreras. And he starts him off with strike 1. Contreras and a single in the 7th inning. That one just a bit low. Hamill started by striking out the first 6 of the game. Dyson close to finishing it in similar fashion. There's strike 2. So he's 1 strike away from striking out the side in the 9th. Trying to get a win in Chicago, something the Rangers have not been able to do this year. In trouble on the south side, lost the first 2 of this series. Boy, would this be a lift heading to the West Coast. The 1-2 pitch. And that one off the end of the bat, foul. When Hamels threw his no-hitter here last year in July, did the interview after the game, then walked across to go to the interview room, the media room, which was underneath the Cubs side. When he walked across the field, the fans applauded here. They thought he was being traded to the Cubs. Only to their disappointment to find out, no, he was going to the American League, the 1-2. And now he returns with an American League club 1 year later, almost to the day, and authored 8 brilliant innings today. 1 unearned run against him. Dyson trying to lock down the save and get Hamels his 10th victory of the year. One-two pitch. And there will be another. 2-2 the count. Old tapper that time, so Contreras, and he gave a similar at bat in the 2nd inning to Hamels. Not going to let anything close go by. Two balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch to Contreras. Got him swinging. Dyson strikes out the side in the 9th. And what a fitting finish to this one. Hamels the brilliant 8, and Dyson with his 19th save. Rangers win it 4-1. This one all about good pitching today. And there's that smile for Jeff Bannister and company.
Every Ranger fan and most of the Rangers can go ahead and exhale now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Came back, and Cole Hamels really setting the tone well and doing exactly what you hope your number 1 does. And then your closer coming in and getting the strikeout of Bryant to start off the 9th inning. Going right through the middle of the order. Anthony Rizzo next. The changeup got him. And then a tough at bat by Contreras and another changeup. And Dyson ends up punching out the side. So You put those two guys together, you've got 9 superlative innings for the Rangers today, and that's how you break a losing streak. Their 4-game losing streak is a thing of the past now. They can celebrate all the way from here to Anaheim.